Welcome everybody, obviously I'm your host BOSSAGE, and this is another latest military news stream by yours truly. Right, so if you've watched my video top 5 things that irritate me, you'll know about a few ideas I'm throwing out about this video. I'll just quickly run through them, get a bit of housekeeping out of the way. First of all, sorry about the poor lighting. It is 2 minutes to 4 in the morning on the 25th of September 2021. Got my director's lamp. Second thing is multiple options where we want to take this latest military news stream. If you like it, and I hope you do, please comment down in the comment section, like the stream as well, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing, all your show of support is greatly appreciated. So, like I said, multiple ways this latest news streams can go, because they can go for a hell of a long time. So, what I proposed was either do it country by country, which I mean, so basically when I'm streaming I've got my main monitor here with my webcam, and then I've got all the news articles here, and like today we've got France, China, the Royal Navy, the United Kingdom, Australia, USA, North Korea and New Zealand. Yes, I know the Royal Navy is the official navy for the United Kingdom, but there's some bits that aren't to do with the Royal Navy, and that I'm a bit, yeah, do they tie in or not? So they're included because they are military, but we'll see how we go. Which in that case, if you want me to just do them as country by country, it's fine. But for example, the New Zealand tab, I've only got one news article in, so that'll be about a 5 to 10 minute video, which is fine. But then you've got the Royal Navy tab, which has got like 18 tabs. So what I'm on about tabs is, some of you might already know, Google Chrome, you can group certain tabs, like if you're looking for a new car, you can put like your car insurance, like car manufacturers in there, everything to do with buying a new car in that group. I do it with countries, so I can work my way through and so forth. Or I can purposely do shorter streams, and you guys can say, right, 25 minutes is a good time, or like you said, 15 minutes, whatever time frame you like. 15 minutes for argument's sake. We start getting a bit bored, we want to leave it there for the day and we'll come back later on or tomorrow or whenever, which is fine. So, a couple of options there. I will be trying to timestamp them all, so the moment I start with a country, I'll put that in the description, to like doing China at 6 minutes and 12 seconds. I'll stick it in the description to you guys. If there's any Chinese fans, you can go straight to China, which unusually I don't have a pen actually on here. Everything but a pen. Just give me 1 second, I'll get a pen. So, exciting, this new way of going about it. Right. So, we'll start off with France. Right. So, France, this news article is concerning the French and Australian submarine deal, which there's quite a lot about, including videos about an Australian senator arguing with an Australian rear admiral. But this article says, the main title is "Stabbing Back French Fury as Australia scraps submarine deal." And then the next heading is France Foreign Minister says move to buy nuclear subs from US in new defence pact is betrayal of trust. Which I don't think it is, to be honest. Unless they have signed a contract saying, right, we are definitely going to buy these submarines off you, France. And then they've backed out. But if they haven't, then I don't see a problem. It just says France has expressed fury over Australia's surprise decision to scrap a huge submarine deal in favour of nuclear-powered subs from the US, describing it as a stab in the back from Canberra and a stain on its friendly relationship with Washington. It's really a stab in the back, where they establish a relationship of trust with Australia. This trust has been betrayed. The French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian told France Info Radio on Thursday. So, I think they're blowing it out of proportion. Australia hasn't got a massive navy anyway, but I've been doing a bit of research into Australian submarines. There's quite a lot of nations around Australia who have nuclear submarines. If Australia didn't go down the nuclear option, pretty much everybody else would have nuclear submarines apart from them. They'd be outmatched. And although the deal with France was signed in 2016, and it was a £48 billion contract they'd signed, it has been scrapped. But, like, I don't think it isn't. They've changed their mind. That's all they've done. And yeah, they should have properly thought about it and stuck with the decision. But hey ho. But you can sort of blame China for this as well, and I'm not blaming China for everything, but countries near China need serious firepower to defend themselves, because China has got serious firepower. The Philippines hasn't. And they have acts, like I said in my previous news video, they've asked Washington for help. So, obviously, Australia's been smart and going, right, we need some lethal submarines to defend our nation. And all power to them, damn right, you need protection for your nation. But you should have thought of it first. So next, sorry, I'm not being rude. When I'm looking down, I'm literally doing the timestamps. Moving on to China. And obviously, China has something to say about the US, UK, Australia pact could hurt their own interests. China has told the US, the UK and Australia to abandon their Cold War mentality to its kind in their own interests after the three countries unveiled a new defence cooperation pact. Right, just in them 2.5 lines. Just in them 2.5 lines. The only reason China is pissed off with this is because it means the relationship between the US, UK and Australia is strengthened dramatically. So, as I've stated before, if things go south, if there is a World War III, China could probably only rely on North Korea and Russia, because both of them haven't said anything about China and what they're doing, and vice versa. China hasn't said anything or shown any anger, to my knowledge, about Russia's activities or North Korea. So China would allow North Korea to have its nukes, although it's not up to China. Russia would allow North Korea to have its nukes. North Korea would allow China to expand as much as it wants, and so forth. Right, so as well, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman said the US and UK's decision to export highly sensitive nuclear-powered submarine technology to Australia was a case of extremely irresponsible double standards. That's meant to be extreme irresponsibility, I think. So I think what they mean by that is all them countries that China's mentioned, so the UK, Australia and the US, have one way or the other denied China of things. We've also denied North Korea of nuclear missiles. The thing is, as we know, nuclear power, whether it's used in a military capacity or not, you need great responsibility for that. North Korea don't. There's a lot of horror stories come out of North Korea, not just about the military, about what it's like to live in North Korea, to work in North Korea, just North Korea in general, from everything from living, to travelling, to the military. So if they are referring to we're not letting North Korea have nuclear missiles, then maybe not letting them go nuclear. And I'm sorry, but if the US, the UK and Australia allowed China to continue what it's doing, build as many island bases as they want, let them do exactly what they want, they'd be on our side. It's only because we're telling them to basically shut the hell up, stop doing what you're doing, it's wrong, it's irresponsible, and it goes against laws, legislation, then everything will be alright. So, moving on. I don't like to whittle on each subject too much. If you want to know more about a particular subject, please let me know. So the next article, Chinese and Iranian warships are fielding more and more missiles. So what is interesting is that China has retrofitted an older vessel with VLS, which raises the possibility that the Chinese Navy could arm its older destroyers and frigates with multiple launch tubes. Key point there, Iran and China, so obviously allies there, are enhancing firepower of their warships with new VLS weapons. The VLS is the closest organizer of warship design, ready to pack more missile launchers on a vessel instead of Cold War rotating arm launchers that fired 1 or 2 missiles at a time. So I won't go too much into that, the actual weapon. They found on many US, Russian, European and Japanese ships, as well as all newer Chinese warships such as the Type 055 class destroyers. So, VLS obviously stands for Vertical Launch System, but yeah. I think but it's yet again an aggressive move. Or, not so much an aggressive move, but a move that can help if they wanted to make an aggressive or controversial move within anywhere around the world, really. Next, might have touched on this in a previous video. China denies German warship entry into harbour, Berlin says. So, this I might have touched on. It was the 17th of September this was done. To be honest, I don't know why they've denied. Obviously, Germany is much more of an ally towards America, Japan, India, Australia, the UK than it is to China. But generally harbour visits and nothing suspicious, and nothing to worry about. The two main reasons that come to mind is these two reasons interlink. It's to refuel, possibly rearm, but also like doing some relationships. So if Germany, and it's quite possible that Germany is wanting to be friends, be an ally of China, but still have the opinion that what they're doing is wrong, so it's, I'm sure they've got something to hide. And I don't think I'm too out of place to say that China will only allow Chinese, Russian North Korean and Iranian warships into their ports. So this article really bugged me, to be honest, because it says China's foreign ministry spokesman, when asked about the incident, said that China hoped countries outside the region would play a constructive role and respect regional countries' efforts to maintain peace and stability. Well, actually, China's neighbours and China are the ones that are disrupting peace and stability within the region. This is what I've been saying in the videos. China's full of shit, to be honest. Absolute full of shit. They're saying here they want peace and stability. If you want that, then why are you basically questioning every vessel, both commercial and military, that go through the South China Sea? Why are you building military bases on man-made islands? So it also says that China claims almost all of the South China Sea and has established military outposts on artificial islands in the waters that contain gas fields and rich fishing. It's all about control. China is wanting conflict. Telling you now, people. Telling you now. Moving on. If it loads. Let's give it a minute. So, this, I believe, is from an Asian newspaper. And headline is China's designed fighter jets should kill US Navy's F-35s and Super Hornets. I don't know, I've got that article. Look at that. That article isn't working for some particular reason. We'll move on to this article. Still within China. China launches naval and air drills as the US warship transits Taiwan Strait. This was the 18th of September, 6 days ago. So the USS Barry, which is a guided missile destroyer, and is actually, her home port is Yokosuka, Japan. It's gone through the Taiwan Strait. So this is another thing. The USS Barry marks the 9th transit of the Taiwan Strait by American warships this year. So really, it is only one a month. One a month. I don't know how China's getting all nervous for. Probably because they've got loads of stuff to hide. But PLA So the People Liberation Army Eastern Theatre Command slammed repeated provocation actions. They're not doing anything wrong. All they're doing is promoting freedom of navigation, and if you don't like people having freedom, then there's something wrong with you. Beijing held a military drill targeting Taiwan and described the United States as the biggest troublemaker in the region as the US destroyer sailed through the Taiwan Strait on Friday, the 9th such passage by American warships this year. And all it was a routine Taiwan Strait transit on Friday, a statement from the US Navy 7th Fleet said. The ship's transit through the Taiwan Strait demonstrates the US commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific, it said, adding that the US military flies, sails and operates anywhere international law allows. Fair enough. If it's within the law, do it as many times as you want. So, in response, the People Liberation Army Eastern Theatre Command said it had closely monitored the passage of the USS Barry. The US had repeatedly taken provocative actions which illustrate that the US is the biggest troublemaker for stability of the Taiwan Strait, a spokesman for Theatre Command said. This is what really bugs me about China. Not only are they the complete arseholes, I'm saying too much, do apologise, but they're saying everybody else is a troublemaker. America is the biggest troublemaker. All they're doing is sailing in international waters. They're not doing anything wrong. The People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theatre Command remains on high alert and is determined to safeguard national sovereignty and security and regional peace and stability. And this is what I'm saying, they're wanting peace and that, but they're holding military drills and attacking Taiwan. Attacking Taiwan is not a peaceful action. Right, so back to this article. China's ferocious naval fighters should kill US Navy Super Hornets pretty quickly in a dogfight, India experts. So, this doesn't look like a right professional article, to be fair. On the right, in small, it looked quite like an amateur, but it goes on about like the J-15 versus the F-18. So I don't know why it says F-35s in that link description, but I'm pretty sure that all American aircraft carriers are going to have not converted, but have the F-35s anyway, so it's, I don't know, to be fair, that's apparently what an Indian expert has said. I mean, the F-18 is like 40 years old. So It's moving on. Right, so I'm going to stick on mute because this is this news article that I commonly refer to. I don't even know, because on all of their videos, yeah, so it's gravitas. They always have, I think that's how you pronounce it, gravitas, and that literally means high seriousness. So goes on about ahead of Quad meet, which is happening today. Chinese warships near Alaska. They sailed 42 if as close as 42 miles near, as close to 42 miles away from Alaskan waters. She also goes on to say Beijing's most advanced warship, which she is right. I've done some research. She is right in saying it's the most advanced warship in a way, because it is China's most advanced destroyer. She goes on to say Pentagon says business as usual. Because she always does this with a pen, like, yeah, that point, that point, that point, yeah, yeah, give it a bit of that. Does my head in. Right. Right, China slams Quad's Cold Water mentality. I'm just gonna... The Quad Summit is a meeting between Australia, India, Japan and the United States. So we'll go back to this video. So China has slammed the Quad meeting, because apparently the members of the meeting have got a Cold War mentality, and as you can tell by what I'm saying and what I've researched, China is much on the offensive as they are on the defensive. Also comes up with Taiwan holds anti-invasion military drills, and they're holding them pretty regularly, to be honest. So I'm just going to make this slightly bigger. So the Aleutian Islands are where the Chinese ships sailed, and it happened apparently between August 29th and the 30th. And it's just got some footage of what I presume is a Type 55 Chinese destroyer firing pretty much all its weapons. But yet again, that footage won't be from near Alaska. That'll be probably maintenance drill footage, sea trial footage. Right. So the Pentagon, it says Pentagon on US-China naval encounter. All interactions between the US Coast Guard and PLAN were in accordance with international laws and norms. At no point did the PLA Navy task force enter US territorial waters. The most thing it keeps coming up with is Beijing sends most powerful warship. Ahead of Quad meet, China raises threat of war. What have I been saying? The threat of war is looming. It's come up with global tandem voyage countermeasure against the US. Right, so Global Times has said PLA warships reportedly sail near Alaska, deploy. Where the fuck am I getting deploy from? Display of far-sea capabilities or countermeasure against US provocation. As I've said before in some of my previous videos, all this is China being immature, childish, and doing tit for tat. Every nation, like the UK, the US, and all the others that sail through this South China Sea are doing it to have a stand against China, to back up the fact that it is freedom of navigation. China's just doing it because other countries are doing it in their waters. It says warships from the US have been making frequent provocations near China in the name of freedom of navigation. So they're not provocations, they're just transits through South China Sea doing freedom of navigation. They're not doing anything wrong. Apparently, the fact that these Chinese warships are near Alaska, stressing that this is a countermeasure and a signal against the US actions of hegemony. Just gonna yeah, so they're just actions against US actions of dominance. They're not doing actions of dominance. Actions of freedom. She needs to get effect right. So now there's just random footage of Chinese warships and Chinese warships. So yeah, China slams Quad's Cold War mentality. Chinese provocation reaffirms need for Quad summit. and it's showing a Chinese foreign minister probably saying a lot of crap. I'm just going to put the volume on this a little bit.
That will eventually lose steam. Here's what the Foreign Minister Wang Yi said in 2018. Quad may get some attention, but it will soon dissipate. He compared it to sea foam in the Indo-Pacific. By 2020, the tone changed. The same man, Wang Yi, described the Quad as a security threat. He called it the new NATO. So much for sea foam. The fact is...
See, she really does get on my nerves because she hasn't got a clue what she's on about. So yeah, there's I am wondering why the UK ain't involved. I know it's got pictures of American fighter jets flying off of American aircraft carriers, and it goes back to Chinese aircraft. This is what I'm saying with these news reports. Just throwing a hell of a lot in, and quite a lot of it isn't got to do with anything, but I am going off on a tangent here. Next news article. So Air Force Chief of Staff China is outpacing the US. US Air Force leaders are warning that China's rate of change is outpacing the US and is intended to achieve global dominance by 2050. So a multi-pronged strategy approach to include military modernization, technology, innovation, economic imperialism, and the whole of government approach to winning the US military advantage. China is a pacing challenge, actively developing weapon systems specifically designed to defeat the US competitive advantage. China will exceed the US as the largest economy in 10 years. Well, I ain't being funny, but they breed like fucking rabbits. Goes on about fighter jets making or have got for the new aircraft carrier. The J-31, could such an aircraft, should it come into fruition, quickly rival an F-30B or F-35C? So that's everything to do with China, believe it or not. Now got the Royal Navy. Sorry guys, yet again, just writing down the timestamp. So I've put this under Royal Navy, but it has got to do with Russia as well. Joint Warrior Navy quiet on HMS Prince of Wales encounter with Russian warship. HMS Prince of Wales is the Royal Navy's newest aircraft carrier and is taking part in major multinational exercises, and it's called Joint Warrior 212. The Royal Navy has refused to deny that aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales encountered a Russian warship for the first time during training off the Scottish coast. It comes after a report by Portsmouth News that the 65,000-ton ship shared a sighting of a Russian training vessel on its official Twitter account. They added that HMS Prince of Wales person made on Tuesday afternoon was swiftly deleted by the Navy, and with the news report quoting a source who claimed that the tweet had been made in error. When approached by Forces News, which is a website I'm on, the Royal Navy spokesman refused to rule out that the incident had happened. HMS Prince of Wales is at sea, taking part in the exercise Joint Warrior along with 27 ships from 9 of the NATO nations, the spokesman said. During the exercise, the Royal Navy and NATO monitors and tracks nearby naval activity. So, yeah, Russia's up to its tricks again. This article just goes on about this was the 17th of September. The Royal Navy's aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales is on her way off to the Hebrides to take part in Europe's largest military exercise. So yeah, that's quite old compared to the one I've just been on about. But yeah. Moving on. Royal Navy warship heads for repairs after 4 years in port. So HMS Daring the Type 45 destroyer HMS Daring is travelling from Portsmouth to Birkenhead for a multi-million-pound engine refit. The ship has been undergoing maintenance since returning in May 2017 from a 9-month Gulf deployment. In July, it emerged that 5 of the UK's 6 Type 45 destroyers were out of action because of technical issues. That's wrong, because I can tell you why that's wrong. HMS Diamond, HMS Defender, there were 2 of the Type 45s are with HMS Queen Elizabeth. HMS Dragon is out at sea. So, well, then again, this news article is 7 days old, but even so, 7 days ago, it's wrong, because 7 days ago, I still had HMS Diamond and HMS Defender with HMS Queen Elizabeth. So, yeah. The work on HMS Daring is due to be completed by 2023. Moving on. I think from now on, it's all like positive news for the Royal Navy. First in class Type 26 frigate HMS Glasgow recently hit 2 big milestones, with the warship's funnel and composite mast successfully lifted into place to BAE Systems. So that is, if I'm seeing the pictures right, the actual main ship is together. It just needs fitting out now, I think. But yeah. So the Ministry of Defence and industry teams are working to improve delivery. HMS Glasgow to enter service 12 months sooner than planned, so a whole year has been shaved off getting that ship ready. Next article. Design work begins on successor to Astute class submarines in a $170 million deal. So, just to get a bit of perspective for you people. Design work has started on Astute class submarine replacement, and not all the Astute class are actually built. So out the 2, 4, 7 submarines, 5 have been launched, 4 have been commissioned. HMS Anson has been launched but has not to be commissioned and is currently undergoing testing and fitting out. HMS Agamemnon, I think that's how you pronounce it, and HMS Agincourt are under construction, with HMS Agincourt expected commissioning is 2026. So yeah, the Astute class have about a 30-year lifespan, and already replacements have been designed, and it was 11 years ago when HMS Astute was commissioned. So yeah, at least on the submarine side we're on track. It's just the rest of the fleet we need to be building, replacing and upgrading on a regular basis. This is another article just saying Navy's next generation submarines are closer than ever. Design work for the next generation world number submarines is underway after Defence Secretary Ben Wallace announced an investment of $170 million. The funding comes in the form of two £85 million contracts awarded by BAE Systems and Rolls-Royce to deliver design and concept work for a future class of Navy submarine. It has been stated by Ian Booth, Submarine Delivery Agency COO, it is essential that work on the next generation underwater capability commences as early as possible. So, I'm not quite sure why submarines take priority, but go. This article, I've not heard of this website before. It states we're all at sea, navigation Royal Navy style, with plenty of IT but no GPS. I think we'll skip that. So this article was 2 days old now. What is the status of the Type 45 destroyer engine repairs? Right, so it says here, HMS Dauntless, the first of the class ship, is to receive the Type 45 power improvement project conversion. And actually, the last time I went down to Portsmouth, she was in dry dock, and I haven't been to Portsmouth for ages. HMS Daring has been moved to Campbell Large Shipyard in Birkhead and will be the second Type 45 destroyer to undergo the conversion. So, by the sound of that, HMS Dauntless and Daring are berthed at Birkenhead. It doesn't actually state the other ones. It doesn't actually state. Right, moving on. Yet again, next astute submarine in docking bow ahead of Navy Sea Trials. So, HMS Anson is taking part in a test and commissioning program having been launched earlier this year. The submarine will be the 5th of 7 astute hunter-killer boat to leave the shipyard. At 7,400-ton nuclear-powered submarine, officially named at a ceremony in December 2020, emerged from the Devonshire Dock Hall and entered the water for the first time in April. The Astute class boats are the largest and most advanced attack submarines ever built for the Royal Navy, so God knows what the replacements are going to be. These are 97 metres in length, maybe the new ones are going to be 100 metres in length. Don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but looking forward to it. This is, yet again, very interesting. So, this article was yesterday at a ceremony in BOSSAGE today. The Defence Secretary, Ben Wallace, conducted the first steel cutting, signalling the start of the Type 31 frigate construction programme. That means construction on 2 out of the 3 types of frigates that were placed in the Type 23 frigate are underway. The first one is going to be called HMS Ventura. So, interesting thing to note is that there's a building that was built for the sole purpose of building the Type 31, and they can build 2 Type 31s at the exact same time, simultaneously. So, whatever year they are going to commission one, they should be able to commission another one. Just going to be absolutely amazing that 2 warships being built at the exact same time. Also, on a little bit of a lighter note, this article by the Daily Mail, the name's Bond, Commander Bond. Daniel Craig is given same honorary rank in the Royal Navy as 007, and says he is truly privileged and honoured to be appointed the rank. Not much else to say about this. Our honorary officers act as ambassadors and advocates for the service, sharing their time and expertise to spread the message about what our global, modern and ready Royal Navy is doing around the world. So yeah, HMS Dragon is in the new James Bond film. So I don't know if they'll change the name of this warship, because the Royal Navy has starred in James Bond films numerous times. But the thing with HMS Dragon is she's got a red dragon on her hull. So if it's called, I don't know, say HMS Hunter in the film, people are going to instantly know it's not. It's actually HMS Dragon. So yeah, so the Type 31 frigates are formally announcing the names of the Inspiration class. I did in one of my videos mention that the Royal Navy, I can't remember which video it was, but ages ago I said there should be a class of ships that are named after either famous battles or famous warships, and it should be like the War class. I know it's quite an aggressive name for a class, but I said there should be HMS Hood, HMS Ark Royal, HMS Campbell, all like ones that played real significant role in them. So where I've just mentioned HMS Campbell, obviously I mean HMS Campbelltown. But all these are have got history. So HMS Active, the most recent one, the Type 21 frigate that saw action in the 1982 Falklands War. Previous HMS Actives included destroyer that served through World War II, earning 4 battle honours, including involvement in sinking the Bismarck. HMS Bulldog, which was involved in the capture of an Enigma machine and code book from German submarine U-110 on 9th May 1941. HMS Campbelltown will only be the 3rd ship to carry the name. The first was made famous by Commander Raid on St. Nazareth in 1942, known for the greatest raid of all. The second was Batch 3 Type 22 frigate that decommissioned in 2011. Prematurely axed from the fleet in the 2010 Defence Review. HMS Formidable will be the 5th ship to bear the name. The previous two were pre-dreadnought battleship and aircraft carrier which saw extensive World War II service. This include launching airstrikes on the battleship Tirpitz in surviving a kamikaze attack while serving the British Pacific Fleet. HMS Ventura will be the 8th ship to carry the name. Most famous was the World War II submarine, which on the 9th of February 1945 sank U-864 while underwater. To date, this is the only occasion a submarine has sunk another submarine underwater. So yeah, that is the Royal Navy finished. This next bit is the United Kingdom. As I stated before, this has got still military. But I think it deserves like its own section. Because it isn't really to do with the Royal Navy. So, first article is from Naval News. Babcock sells Arrowhead 140 frigate design licensed to Indonesia. Not much else I can say about this. Obviously Indonesia is an ally. The more people that buy this design, obviously, the cheaper individual units will be. So the agreement was signed at the Defence and Security Equipment International event in London on board HMS Argo by David Lockwood, CEO Babcock, and CEO Pierre Alam, was witnessed by the Defence Minister of Indonesia. Moving on. That's still to do. I'm not going to go into that. That's BBC News. It's just saying about the Astute class submarine replacement. British F-35 jets to receive weapon capability enhancements. So these are magnificent planes. Not personally seen one, but integration of new weapon capabilities on the UK and Italian F-35 fleets. I'm just trying to see what else. The integration of the MBDA's Meteor air-to-air missile. They're just an upgrade on the weapon capability. Cam to up firepower for Type 45 destroyers. Type 45 destroyers, although they have got like one issue, the engine keep overheating, but that's just to do with one component of the engine. It's not exactly the engine itself. It's a component of the engine. And although the Type 45 destroyers are one of the, if not the most advanced and powerful destroyers in the world, they are getting a upgrade there to be equipped with the MBDA Common Anti-Air Missile as part of an evolution of the ship's Sea Viper anti-air guided weapon system. So that's going to be amazing to see. This system's also going to be fitted to the Royal Navy's new fitted to the Type 23 frigates, and also to be equipped on the new Type 26 and Type 31 frigates. And I imagine it'll be equipped to the Type 83 destroyers, which are the replacement for the Type 45s, but they're in a very, very early design. They're probably in the same stage as the replacement. No, actually, I'm going to say they're in the same stage as the Astute class submarine replacement, but the replacement for the Type 45, at least they've got a name. It's a Type 83. Moving on. gonna miss that because that's still about the astute class submarine placement. This is again, Babcock has secured the first export contract for its Arrowhead 140 frigate through a design license agreement with Indonesia. I'm not going to say much about that because I've gone through it. This actually just about phase replacement of Royal Navy's current mine countermeasure vessel fleet. I've gone through this before, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. This is I've stated before they're having it unmanned vessels. Eventually it's going to be completely replaced. They're going to replace the Sandown class, which in all fairness is brilliant because the crew that are on the Sandown class will be able to go on the new frigates. It'll just be better all around, to be fair. Yet again, Babcock secures first Arrowhead 140 frigate export contract. As we know, that's to Indonesia. BAE and Dell partner to deliver digital capability for Type 26 frigates. The partnership is aimed at delivering a shared infrastructure to host the essential systems of the ships. Not much to say about that. The two companies' approach is based on the implementation of a shared infrastructure solution across several frontline naval platforms, including the Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers. So yeah. The collaboration will take full advantage of scalable, open and coherent technology and provide improved durability, advanced security and data protection. Yet again, I don't know, I've got so many articles about the replacement for the astute class submarine, so I'm just gonna skip that. This is the Airbus A400M Atlas isn't certified to transport F-35 engines. The container designed to carry engines for the F-35 jets, for example to replace an engine on a deployed F-35, is certified for carriage on the C-17 and C-130J, but not the Atlas, which is a bit crap because if you need a replacement part, you'd think that part could be like taken on pretty much anything. You'd want it there quick as possible. If it's a deployed fighter jet, if it could get there with an Atlas, if a Globemaster C-17 and Hercules C-130Js weren't available, but an Atlas was, you'd want to be able to use that plane to get that part to that fighter jet as soon as possible. If it's also, if it's on a deployed aircraft, you'd want it to be fixed as soon as possible. This next article, I was over the moon about. I cannot tell you how happy I was about this. Scottish shipyards to build 24 warships between 2015 and 2035. So to say that we're already 6 years into that, So I've got a list here. It is ships that are to be built. Let me just count. So that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right, so there's going to be 5 Type 32s, 5 Type 31s, and 8 Type 26. All the Type 26s are to be made in Glasgow. All Type 31s and Type 32s are going to be built in BOSSAGE. So that's I just can't get over that. It's amazing. Just amazing. So, and I'll tell you what, there's 13 Type 23s. So the fleet is growing. You're going to have 8 Type 26 and 5 31 Type 31 frigates and 5 Type 32s. So you're going to have a growth of 5 warships, which is going to be immense. So if you can start off with the same amount of growths with the Type 45 replacements, that will be magic. I don't know what else to say. It's just so yeah. The list starts off with 2016 up to 2019. The River class vessels, which are all built and in service now, and then you go on to the Type 23 replacements, which, like I say, the Type 26. The Type 31s and the Type 32, and there's a Ukrainian warship to be built in BOSSAGE as well. And the remaining 7 of that class are going to be built in Ukraine. But yeah, Scotland's going to be busy. Moving on, BAE Systems and Rolls-Royce begin design work on UK's new submarine class. After that's about the Astute class. There's been more on the Astute class replacement than the Dreadnought submarine. Moving on. You can get a sort of a scale of the scope of what I do to bring you news. This is the only thing I've got to say about Australia, really. The nuclear option why has Australia ditched the French submarine plan for the AUKUS Pact. I mentioned this a bit before with the France tab. I think all power to them. Like I say, they're doing the best for their country. They need the power, they need the offensive and defensive capability. Hopefully they'll order more than 2 submarines. Hopefully they'll say, right, yeah, we'll have 5 or something like that. But yeah, there's nothing much else I can say on that. Moving on. US declassified F-22 Raptor, US most powerful stealth aircraft, was almost up for sale with a humongous price tag. So if anybody knows anything about the F-22, it's the Lockheed, which actually, this is the Eurasia Times, which looks a bit amateur. It's that website I was talking about earlier, saying it looked a bit amateur. The Lockheed Martin F-22 is one of the most dominant air superiority fighter jets in the world. This double-engine aircraft can outclass almost any adversary on the planet. Its strength is precisely what has prevented it from being sold to military forces outside the US. So, I think pretty much any other aircraft from the US, pretty much any other country can buy. The F-22 was, no, pretty much from the get-go. And in fact, this, see, I'm more naval, but the imaging, it says F-22 Raptors. It is on the one to the back of the picture is an F-35. You can tell because the F-22, although the F-22 and the F-35 look similar, the F-22 is a lot like slimmer still, sleeker. But yeah. But yeah. That's it. Moving on. I won't go too much into the ban of the F-22. This article is named Mediterranean and Anti-Access No Man's Land for the US Navy. Picture of Strait of Malacca, June 18, 2021. The Navy's only forward deployed aircraft carrier US Ronald Reagan transits the South China Sea with Arleigh guided missile destroyer USS Hansley and the guided missile cruiser USS Shallar. So yeah, entire carrier strike group over there. So it states that the organisers have asked me to apprise the US strategic perspective on the Mediterranean Sea. Simply, the Mediterranean remains critical to the US strategy as it has been since the presidency of Thomas Jefferson 2 centuries ago. In fact, the US Navy is a very fast foreign station was in the Middle Sea during the age of the Barbary States, but the nature of its impact has changed in recent decades. Setting and enforcing priorities is what strategy is all about. 3 US presidential administrations, representing best major political parties, have now affirmed that the Indo-Pacific is a priority safety for US military and maritime strategy. This means that the Indo-Pacific has the first claim on US military and naval resources. Because of that, the Mediterranean and Atlantic have been demoted to secondary status on America's list of strategic importance. Doesn't mean that the Mediterranean has been abandoned, but obviously because of the South China Sea and China and all that, things change. This article is how F-35 jets and their carriers can't talk to each other. Here's what you need to remember. In the near future, the Marines could use a drone to gather and rely on data from F-35s. The new Group 5 drone with the cortex deploy on assault ships starting in 2026 could possess the hardware and software to receive the fuzz data from F-35 before passing it along to ships and ground forces. This is all about the US navies are moving quickly to adapt some of the fleet's amphibious assault ships to impact large numbers of F-35s, transforming the amphibians into light carriers that can complement the Navy's full-size flat tops. But there's a problem. The F-35 is a fifth-gen plane. Its powerful sensors, it produces large volumes of data that can help it and other forces survival, track and target the enemy. The Navy is 10 Wasp and America-class amphibious assault ships by contrast still as third-generation vessels and possess unlimited capacity to receive, process and pass along the raw information the F-35 generate. I don't think anything there to worry about. They'll get upgraded. So this article, I knew anyway. There's been a lot of talk about, within the last 10 years, is the age of the aircraft carrier coming to an end? This article says predictions of the deaths of the aircraft carrier are premature. Critics of the modern aircraft carrier do often focus only on the alleged vulnerabilities of the ship and fail to address the role of the carrier air wing. Carriers will continue to provide vital military capabilities for decades to come. Large-jet nuclear-powered aircraft carriers will be a key part of Navy's force structure for the next half-century at a minimum. The primary reason for this is the remarkable adaptability and flexibility of the air wing. When the current evolving air wing is married to the functional improvements embodied in the new Ford-class nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, the result will be advanced military capability of unparalleled flexibility, mobility, effectiveness, efficiency and reach. Since the advent of carrier-based aviation in the early 1930s, the United States has deployed 12 classes of purpose-built aircraft carriers, 3 of which, the Enterprise, Nimitz and Ford, are nuclear-powered. In the same period, some 200 different aircraft have flown from the decks of US carriers by continually modifying the mix of aircraft in its wing. So yeah, the great thing about aircraft carriers, you can change and adapt. Like if on a JLR Ford, I think they can hold like 70 to 80 aircraft. You don't have to set it as like 10 helicopters and 60 F-35Cs. You can change it. Have 30 F-35Cs and maybe 35 F-35Bs. You don't know? Or 30 F-18 Hornets. Mix it up, do what you want. This title, which is... I'm a bit wary about this website because it is the one that has spelling mistakes on and that. And it looks a bit amateur. F-35B stealth jets, world's most powerful aircraft deployed right across Chinese mainland in big numbers. I'm not so much to believe this. It goes on to say why it's so formidable. Yeah, I'll just sort of give this a miss. Because if they were deployed across China, I would know about it. The US has cited its stringent domestic laws to constantly refuse to discuss the issue over the past 15 years. Why the US won't give India nuclear submarines? So, the high point of AUKUS is that both the US and the UK will equip Australia to design and build up to 8 nuclear powered attack submarines to counter the rising threat of China in the Indo-Pacific. So, by the sound of it, India's basically turned around going, well, why can't we have nuclear powered?
Frustrating.
Sorry, that was an advert. China's belligerent in common concern with several countries in the region, especially the countries of US, Australia, Japan, and India, who revived their grouping last year. US Navy to test block upgrade for F-5 aggressors. The US Navy is set to commence testing with an upgraded version of the Northrop FSN fighter, setting the stage for the block upgrade of 22 former Swiss Air Force fighters, which will serve in the aggressor role. Performing the upgrade, modernising the cockpit and avionics, as well as improving the safety of the legacy platforms, says Naval Air Systems Command. I don't get why not just pour the money into the F-35 and F-22? Because I'm just looking at a picture now and they don't look particularly that good, but moving on. This is about the aggressors again, so I'm going to skip that. Last one, I've put it in the USA tab, but it's Israel wants to put new equipment inside the F-35. So the goal, which has been stated by the Israeli Air Force Chief of Air Staff and Vice Commander to the Israeli Air Force, to add Israel-made gear inside the F-35. I don't know why, I just don't get this. My point of view is that it says here the effort is to find the right balance between the US restrictions and the Israeli operational demands. But the F-35 is like one of the most, if not the most advanced aircraft in the world. Why would you... I just don't get it. Why would you change it. It's like the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Alright, moving on to New Zealand. We're getting there, people. Over 2 hours long, but if you're still with me on this live stream, thank you so much for sticking with me. Your support is greatly appreciated. Right, so New Zealand warships check sides with British carrier strike group. So, Royal New Zealand Navy frigate HM. Let's start again. HMNZS Tikaha, I hope I pronounced that right, and replenishment tanker HMN. Let's start again with that as well. HMNZS Victoria will sail with HMS Queen Elizabeth and her carrier strike group. So that's obviously good. Getting another replenishment vehicle. Well, tanker, it's deployed with a Sea Sprite helicopter on board. The deployed from Auckland's Hauraki Gulf for the next 2 to 3 months at sea. So, joining up with HMS Queen Elizabeth and her tax group, so New Zealand's obviously working with the Royal Navy and US Navy, and the Dutch air crew on Royal New Zealand Air Force P3K209 will join the Naval Task Group for Bazama Girl 21, a major exercise on the international calendar marking the 58th anniversary for the 5-power defence arrangements. The Orion will also interact with the UK Carrier Strike Group. But the group comprises of 9 ships, 32 aircraft, and 1 submarine, and is manned by 3,700 sailors, aviators, and marines from the combined forces from the UK, the US, and the Netherlands. Alright, home stretch, people, home stretch. Last country on this live stream. North Korea. So this was 5 days ago. So as we know, there was a couple of years ago this major thing with North Korea wanting to develop nuclear missiles. They're wanting to own them, operate them, but the powers that be have said no, can't have them, and rightly so. North Korea is pretty buggered up, to put it politely. So to give them nuclear capabilities will just be irresponsible. So they've not like backed down from having nuclear capabilities, but North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, since returning from a failed February 2019 summit with former US President Donald Trump in Vietnam, expressed resolve to continue investing in North Korea's nuclear deterrent, pursuing a self-reliant national defense strategy. North Korea still wants nuclear missiles. If they continue down this road, there'll be hell to pay. But there could be a pact between Russia, North Korea and China saying, right, if you can develop nuclear capability within a certain amount of time, if you can do that, pretty much like that, us being Russia and China will defend you. We will have our own pact. Don't know. So the AUKUS could trigger a nuclear arms race, says North Korea. So the AUKUS is obviously the pact between Australia, US and the UK for Australia to have nuclear submarines. So we're allowing Australian nuclear capability but not North Korea. In all fairness, Australia is part of the Commonwealth. So they are like part of the UK anyway. So it's not. I can understand North Korea if they were peeved off because we're giving like Latvia nuclear capability, but like a completely foreign, detached country from the Commonwealth. But it's not. It'd just be like us giving nuclear capability to New Zealand. It's not really to write home about. So the US has nuclear submarines, Russia has, China has, the UK has, France has, and India has. But yeah, the North Korea's back up to nuclear. Research wanted in that. Russia's up to its old tricks again, spying on the UK. But to go back to that article where it says about Russian spying on HMS Prince of Wales, when HMS Queen Elizabeth was first set sail, there was Russian ships spying on her, and the Royal Navy was like, right, okay, fine, we expected that. We've got a brand new aircraft carrier, 65,000 tons, you wouldn't know what it can do. You want to know if it can kick your ass? Yes, it can, but we'll let you find that out for yourself, sort of thing. But HMS Prince of Wales is a sister ship, it's the exact same class of ship. So, with that, because I think I've rambled on enough, and now I've got editing to do on this. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please comment, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to show some support. And I'll see you next